Welcome back, everybody, and welcome back, Jonna.
Hi.
So we are on One Piece at a Time podcast episode number 38. And on the last episode, episode 37, we went through anime episodes 287 to 294. And we saw the beginning of the Straw Hat battles against CP9. We saw Sanji being too chivalrous. We saw Nami then take over and start fighting Kalifah, who has a new power. Franky beat up Foucault with the power of cola. Mm-hmm. And Chopper turned into a monster, scary monster.
Chopper!
And Spandam, at the end, accidentally pressed the golden snail button.
Oh, no.
How and why?
Spandam, no!
And on this episode, we'll go through anime episodes 295 to 302, where we'll see the Straw Hats continue fighting and defeat CP9, and Spandam will reach the Bridge of Hesitation with Robin. So let's begin with episode 295, 5 Namis. Nami strikes back with Mirages. We begin right where we left off. Spandam just pressed the button accidentally. Mm-hmm. I don't know how. I mean, I guess I know how. I just don't know why.
He shows that, like, he had a different snail, and he was like, that was the one I meant to push, like, right. to call. Mm-hmm. And no, but he pressed the golden one because he's a Dumbo. We
had so much build-up to the golden snail and the buster call that I was awaiting this moment, like, with a very evil speech, and now I'm gonna press the button.
Very intentional button push and something very serious. No, this idiot does an idiot thing. And then Robin is like, you need to cancel that now. Mm-hmm. Like, you might still have time. Like, it's really bad. It's going to kill everyone. And, of course, Spandam is too proud to call them. He's like, no, like, that would be, make me look dumb if I admit that I accidentally pressed it.
Right. I mean, you are dumb, but...
You are dumb. But, he clearly rather risk his life than his pride. Mm-hmm. So, and then he kicks her down the stairs. Terrible. Terrible.
Awful. I really, really hate this guy.
Yes.
I'm like, I can't wait for, him to get his ass kicked.
And I think he will.
Robin's attitude has completely...
Total change,
right?
Yep.
Like, she's like, Luffy and everyone else is coming for me. Like, I won't give up. Which is, like, the total opposite of what we've seen up until now from her. Right. And I'm glad that she finally saw the light.
Me too. I'm so glad. And meanwhile, we see them. Luffy is fighting against Lucci, and Lucci is pretty darn strong. He's really not too bothered by Luffy's attacks at all.
Yeah, no, he's able to dodge and predict his movements, and it doesn't look like he's having too much trouble.
Even though Luffy just, defeated Bluno and things like that, so, looks bad.
It definitely looks bad. And then outside, the Marines are freaking out because they just heard Spandam say all these things on the transponder.
Right. And then Robin cuts in and is like, everyone get out. They're going to kill you all. Mm-hmm. And I mean, she's right. We know she's right. And luckily the Marines and everyone take it seriously and they just start running.
Yeah, they run, leave everything behind, including the Kalifah and Franky fam. I think they left them tied up. And
oh my gosh. Horrible.
Poor people.
Horrible. And then meanwhile, Chimney, she is looking for everyone. She's trying to show them the secret passage that she found. She's like, where is everyone? Like, I want to show them this. And she finally finds Kokoro, and it's this cute moment where she's really struggling to explain something that happened.
Yeah.
Where even Kokoro is just like, I don't know what you're saying, but it seems like a big deal. So,
right.
Which is so sweet.
It is.
Because that's definitely how kids are like. You have no idea what they're saying sometimes, but you gotta acknowledge, I get you're trying to say something.
Yeah. And we see again, like, her reaction when Luffy made third gear. She was super surprised, and I just started laughing.
Right.
Because I really want to see, like, what did you see? Like, what did you see?
Right. It's like, what in the world? And then suddenly Luffy is small. What is this?
We go back to Kalifah and Nami. The buster call is happening, right? So everybody's heard it, that it's going to happen. So Kalifah's like, well, I need to get out of here. Time's running out. So here's a parting gift. And she does, like, this attack. Mm-hmm. Golden bubbles.
The golden bubbles, which, honestly, for all the times that Khalifa has said sexual harassment, why is this her move?
I know, right? This is like the most. Yeah, this is
sexual harassment. Like,
yeah. This is the most fan servicey fight I have ever seen in my life. Are these shots really necessary? You know, when she's like just putting all the bubbles.
Just like running her hands down Nami, like putting soapy bubbles on her.
Right.
And it's like, okay.
With such detail.
Such detail. Every inch of Nami. And you're like, no, stop it. But then it's really funny the way they design her character now, because now she's just this weird rounded like version of her.
Yeah.
Just slippery, soapy.
Yeah, very shiny
blob Nami.
Yeah, and her hands are weird. Like, it looks like her fingers are bloated.
Right.
Like,
it's like, can you grab anything with hands like that? Obviously not, because she's trying to grab her like tempo wand thing, and she's struggling, but she keeps fighting. And this is where we see her Mirage tempo, because Kalifah like attacks, and then suddenly the Nami just kind of dissipates, and you're like, wait, that wasn't Nami?
So we see that she has a move up her sleeve, and then Chopper, who had been climbing the tower,
oh my gosh,
breaks into the room, and Kalifah thinks that it's, so you turned into a monster, like,
right?
That's your
she
power.
Thinks Nami had turned into a monster now, and she's like, what are you? She's so dumb.
She really is. So we go back to Zoro and Sogeking. And last we've seen, he had turned into a sword, like Zoro's solution to
the handcuff
situation. Yeah, was basically having Usopp hold on to his sword.
Hold the sword and I'll hold you, Usopp. Yeah, exactly. And then just like, you're the nose storm. Yes.
Oh, that was hilarious because Usopp's so afraid, right?
Right, he's terrified. They're squaring off with Kaku and Jabba right now. And like Usopp is like, oh no, what am I going to do? And then Zoro comes in and like he's like, no, they fear the nose storm. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Which of course Usopp was just like, oh, wait, me? I'm a hero? Like I'm powerful now? Wow. And he loves that.
Yeah. So his voice switches to Sogeking now.
Right. He's Sogeking now.
And he's like, my heart is tempered in steel.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh, I laughed so hard at that.
And then Zoro is about to launch an attack and he names it. And there's this weird pun that we see with like in Japanese, and I think we translated it pretty well to still land. So I think in Japanese it's saying like lacquer, or it sounds like the word lacquer, so that's why we see the image of Usopp or Sogeking in front of like this shininess, and we think it means allure is the word that we're given. Allure, lacquer, kind of this shiny like nice thing. And then we learn that actually Zoro is just using Usopp as a lure, as bait is kind of the Japanese translation, to just bring the enemies in, and he drops Usopp on his face. Oh God. Poor thing.
But it works.
It worked.
Yeah, it works. So the killer attack allure is a success, I think, honestly. And I mean,
you know what? Yeah,
Sora's super strong because he's basically carrying a person.
He's wielding a person
with one hand.
With one hand. And just waving him around too. He's just like, I'm just like tossing my arm around here. Like he's just like, he must be so light.
Yeah.
What'd you do, Usopp? What's your secret?
So we go back to Nami, and Chopper just burst in. He's roaring. He's super scary. And Nami looks at his hat, which I'm like, of course, hello. Who else has that hat?
Right. And it made me wonder, how does this hat always fit his head? How does it grow?
I was thinking the same thing when I saw the monster. I was like, wait, did your hat grow too?
Like how
the rumble ball affects your hat?
Maybe it's just magic hat. I don't know. But oh well, it has to stay on his head, or else that's just not Chopper without the hat.
Exactly. She realizes it's Chopper, and Kalifah then realizes when she sees Nami.
She's like, oh. Oh, you didn't turn into a monster.
Right. She's like, I'm not a fool.
I just joking.
Yeah, it was a joke. And then Nami ignores her and she's like, how rude.
Which is the best. I love it. And Nami is she's trying to like get Chopper's attention and be like, hey, it's me. And Chopper's clearly just not recognizing her. And he like kind of barges into the room and picks up this giant bathtub fountain and just chucks it down, like several stories down. Where, I mean, we see, like, Sanji's down there. And I was like, look out, Sanji. Oh, no, Sanji. Poor thing, gonna get hit by a bathtub. But the good thing about that is that the water from the bathtub gets on Nami's leg.
Yes, Nami realizes she was able to dodge an attack because one of her legs is normal. And it must have been because some of the water from the bathtub washed, like, the soap, the bubbles off.
Right.
So she realizes that water helps, and so she makes like a rain tempo thing.
A perfect power to have in this situation.
Yes. So it starts raining, and she uses her Mirage tempo to make 5 Namis. 5 very funny Namis.
Yes, 5 Namis that don't look like Nami at all.
Don't look like Nami at all. Yet they seem to confuse Kalifah, so they work.
I guess so. I mean, we just saw she's not very bright.
Right. Yeah.
Episode 296, Nami's decision, fire at the out-of-control Chopper.
Chopper's out of control.
Poor thing.
Poor thing. Nami does her Mirage tempo, and she starts attacking with, like, her lightning balls. And the thing is, since there's 5 Namis, but only 1 is real, so only 20% of the attacks are real.
Right. So Khalifa is forced to try to dodge all of them, even though only 20% are actually effective or going to be effective. She doesn't know which one. And I mean, Nami explains her power a lot. And every time she was doing that, I was thinking, like, you're giving it away if you're saying that they're mirages, that they're not real.
Yeah.
And you're giving away that, like, one of you is.
That's true.
And it's leading you to think, like, oh, well, obviously it's going to be the Nami in the middle who looks the most like a normal Nami, because all the other ones look like very large, very tall, very tiny, very skinny. And it's like, obviously that one's the real one.
Yeah.
But then, no, you're the fool. Because it's not. That one was a mirage as well. And so, like, apparently Nami was disguising herself as one of the other weirder-looking Namis. So Kalifah is, you know, challenging this and stuff. And Nami is like, I'm going to beat you. And she says this cool line, it's not a promise, it's a forecast.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you dumb. That's so good.
It's good. It actually
it is.
I feel the same way. She explains it too much. And at one point, I was wondering, like, well, now she's going to know what to do because you're telling her before you do it.
Right. And it's like, oh, just leave it to her to find out the hard way.
Right.
But still, even with her powers explained, like, she's kicking some butt now.
And Kalifah tries to use, like, her sheep bubbles. Again, makes a tidal wave. But Nami escapes with her wind tempo, able to escape the bubbles. She says, you might be strong, but I can predict the weather.
And I'm never wrong.
And I'm never wrong.
I was like, Nami, can you be our weather woman, please? Yeah. I would like to know, because the weather in Texas changes way too much.
Oh my God. Yes. In a matter of hours.
No, I was actually very impressed with this line. I was kind of wondering who wrote the episode, but I didn't have time to check who our scriptwriter was. There's some good lines in there.
So, yeah, she finally defeats Kalifah. And she's all like, well, my friends are expecting me, so give me your key. At the same time, Franky comes into the room because he had been climbing the tower behind Chopper. And he's like just looking for him because he's kind of mad.
Yeah, that's fair.
So we go back to Robin before we continue with Franky and Nami. Robin sort of tries to make a run for it away from Spandam.
Yeah, she's like running down the stairs away from him, I think, at this point.
And Luffy is still fighting Lucci, trying to get through the door.
Yes, he's trying to get through the door and like trying to get past Lucci. And Lucci is just so strong. He's not fazed by Luffy still at all.
So we just get like that glimpse of just to see where everybody is. And then Nami asks Franky, like, what are you doing here?
Right.
And he's like, I don't want to get into it.
And then he said something about, like, that deer gorilla referring to Chopper.
Yeah, because he's mad. He's like, where's that deer gorilla?
And I'm like, deer gorilla is a perfect name, actually.
Nami's like, well, he's there. He doesn't recognize me. And Franky's like, well, no choice. We're going to have to kill him.
And I was like, no, Franky, what are you talking about? You could never. And then, of course, Nami punches Franky for all of us. Thank you, Nami.
Yeah.
Because, no, you can't just kill Chopper.
He's too precious, even if he's a monster.
No.
He asked Nami. Nami's like, I don't know. It maybe has to do something with his devil fruit power. Franky tells her, I might have a solution for this. Nami searches for the key in Kalifah's
oh, that's right. Yeah. That's
body by ripping off her clothes.
Because the sexual harassment must continue.
Of course.
How else you can find a key on a woman without, ripping through her clothes?
Of course.
And then even Franky, Franky off the side, he's like, wow, that's some scandalous action. Oh my God, Franky. Okay.
It is pretty scandalous.
It is.
So we go back to Usopp, Sword, and Zoro. And Usopp is still kind of afraid. And he starts saying his usual line. I've got 8,000 men at my command. Like, but weren't you a sword?
Yeah. He's trying.
Yeah.
He's trying.
He's trying. And Jabra's like, okay, then bring them. Let's make this more fun. And I'm like, was that a joke or was he serious? Because I feel like he could be dumb enough to believe Usopp. But then Kaku's like, do you believe him? And he's like, I was just making a joke. I'm like, I'm not sure I believe you.
I don't know. Jabra is a dumbo. I don't think he believed him, but maybe. But yeah, then they start getting serious and...
Yeah, because there's a buster call
There's
on
a
the
buster
way,
call
guys.
on the way, and they're like, yeah, okay, let's take care of this. And
they start attacking. Zoro's like, well, we can't wait anymore. We need to get the cuffs off now. Like, I need to cut off your hand.
That's what happened, right? And that's why Usopp was like, oh no, Chopper, save me. Someone, Chopper. And like, Chopper busts in, as Monster Chopper do. Mm-hmm. And now Usopp was like, wait, no, please don't.
Chopper, don't kill me. I'm very impressed by Zoro right here because a lot of times Zoro can be the dumb one in the room and, getting lost and, just sleeping or doing his exercises in the cold water or whatever it is that just got into his mind.
He's got his little nuggets of wisdom, though.
But he's got his moments. And at this moment, Zoro immediately knows what's up. He's like, Chopper probably put his life down on the line and this is the result of it.
Yeah, the backlash of it.
He reads him immediately, sees that he's sort of tired and it looks like this form takes a lot from him.
Right, taking all of his energy and draining it. So at this point, I was worried for Chopper because I knew also he's probably gonna pass out sometime soon, or who knows how that's gonna end up. Luckily, Franky comes in. He starts shooting at Chopper his coup de burst, I think, and blasts Chopper out of the building again and into the sea. Mm-hmm. And this is where I started realizing, that was his idea, is to
which makes
weaken
sense.
him. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. It's like, why don't they do this more often? Someone has devil fruit, let's try to push them into the sea.
Yeah.
So they can't do stuff.
Exactly. And Usopp is appalled when he saw
I would be too if I saw that out of nowhere.
He's like, what are you doing? I can't believe it. But Franky immediately jumps after Chopper.
Right.
He wasn't just gonna
leave him to drown. Poor baby. No. Yeah, Franky jumps in, and so meanwhile Nami runs in and she has the keys. So finally she frees Usopp from Zoro. Yay! And now Zoro is free to kick butt.
Yes. And Zoro's like, you had your chance to kill me.
Badass
pose with Usopp and Nami behind him. Episode 297. Hunter Sanji makes an entrance. Elegy for a lying wolf.
So Robin is trying to run down the stairs at this point, and that's when Spandam attacks with Frankfried.
Frankfried.
His big old sword elephant thing. It makes its own elephant face at the end of it, and it's just weird looking.
It
stretches. Anyway, doesn't knock her out I think, but yeah, knocks her down, and so yeah, which is really cool because I'm glad that she's constantly trying to run away. It's not just, oh no, he's got me, let me just kind of walk along. You see that a lot in shows, they're a little bit lazy on animation or they don't want to go through that, but they show for this scene and for Robin, she is trying.
Yeah.
As much as she can. She's probably hurt really badly and stuff, but she's still trying to run away.
Yeah, she is trying, and then he comes over and he's like, let's go, because the Gate of Dreams awaits. And I'm like, of course, that's what it is for you.
Right.
Because you're trying to get a promotion, which is all you care about.
And he's a creep.
He is such a creep.
He keeps calling her a cow, and that upsets me.
Yeah.
I was very mad. He'll get his dues. Anyway, Franky saves Chopper at this point, pulls him out of the water, and so Chopper is small again.
So small.
Thank goodness.
Small boy.
Little small Chopper. And Franky seems like really understanding about it. He doesn't hold a grudge after everything that happens.
Yeah. Yeah, so he takes Chopper out, and now he's looking that he can't get across. This is where Luffy was, where Chimney found Luffy drowning a couple episodes back. Mm-hmm. And he wonders how he's going to get across without a bridge when Chimney appears again out from the same box.
Yay, Chimney!
Chimney. And she tells him about the tunnel that takes them to the Gates of Justice. And they take it and find Kokoro again. Who is, at this point, is like seeing stars from all the wine.
Right. And I think around this time we see a scene where she's just sitting there and like she has like 5 or 6 bottles of alcohol in front of her. I'm just like, how much does she have?
I know.
Where does she keep it?
Wow, that's so true. I hadn't
maybe she found
that.
it. Maybe she found it
another
somewhere.
bottle, you think?
Yeah, like, because they're just in, like, all these crates. Maybe.
It should be, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, Franky found cola. She can find a bottle of wine.
Yeah, or 3.
Or 3. Or 4. I'm like, maybe you should give the bottle a break.
Right.
Because it's an emergency right now.
Clearly, it helps her become more powerful.
Yeah.
So she grabs Chopper and takes him from Franky because they're heading over to the other side.
Yeah, they're heading to the other side. So Franky's like, grab the deer and follow me, and runs off. Then we see that Franky and Nami had come up with sort of a plan when she got the key where they're like, well, the Buster Call is coming. What would you do? Would you face certain death, or would you go to the mysterious place that you don't know what's going to happen? And they're like, well, I guess mysterious place.
Right.
And I'm like, well, does that mean that you're going to try and go through the gates? Are you just going to move forward until you can find a way out? What does that mean?
Yeah, basically, I mean, this is one of those questions you come up in life sometimes. It's like you're sitting there worrying about something, and if you think about it, it's like, well, you can stay with what you know, but that's like doom and gloom, or you can jump to the unknown thing, which there might be a chance that there's maybe. And Nami herself, you think she's going to say leave it to me, but really she just says leave it to luck.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, okay. So we're going to see. They're basically moving forward without a plan to get back.
And then we go back to Zoro, who's now free.
Yes.
To fight Kaku. And Kaku has a move now, a new move called the nose pistol.
It's so powerful and amazing.
It is so powerful. But
instead of the finger pistol, he's using his big square giraffe nose, which pokes a square hole through a rock.
Right. A very big hole.
A very big hole.
The size of a head.
Yeah. It's pretty scary, actually, but so dumb.
I'm like, like, Kaku, you're trying to make giraffes happen, and you're actually coming up with some good moves.
I know.
But I still can't get over the fact that you're just a silly giraffe.
He's a silly giraffe. That's pretty good stuff. It really is.
Usopp then figures that he has to fight Jabra.
I think at some point, and Nami this whole time, she's been giving Usopp different nicknames. Like before she called him Nose King, and now she calls him Sniper Sop, which is just so great. While he's kind of trying to square off with Jabra does this weird thing when he just kind of stops and he like gives them the key.
Right.
And he's like, I don't like killing. I'm a pacifist. And kind of you just know, like, what that's such BS.
Right.
No way. And it's totally like Little Red Riding Hood moment where like the wolf is just lying, and then Nami is like, no, like totally calls him on it, like keep your key.
Yeah, and obviously it was a trick. So when Usopp gets down to grab the key, he does the 10-finger pistol where he sort of just jabs him with all of his 10 wolf fingers.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we see Usopp suffer for a bit here. Nami's super worried. Like, you can see panic in her face because it looks like Usopp might die from this battle. When he's about to get killed, though, Sanji arrives.
Yes. Sanji comes in. Yes. Comes sweeping in like the glorious cook that he is.
Yeah, all cool, like his cigarettes. And...
Of course. Right. And Zoro, too, like, is trying to leave his fight with Kaku, and he couldn't, so...
Right, because he sees that Usopp's in trouble.
Right, and when Sanji busts in, like, even Zoro smiles, which made me happy.
Sanji Zoro moments are the best.
They are. And so apparently the bathtub that Chopper had dropped is what saved Sanji because, you know, the water got on him and released him from the golden bubble, whatever situation. And so now Sanji's here to fight, to be the hunter to this terrible big bad wolf.
Yeah.
I'm ready for that.
And I started laughing at this moment because he's like, he does this whole cool entrance and says he's a hunter. And then when we turn to Nami, he's just like, did you see me, Nami? Like,
oh my
God.
You
like me now? Even more. And I'm like,
and she's just like, no.
No, I'm not. No, she's not. She's not in love with you. So
close, Sanji. So close.
Yeah. But we do appreciate it. Like, I appreciated your whole cool entrance.
Just don't acknowledge it. And it's anyway. Okay. So Sanji is like, okay, the gates of justice are starting to open, which is a pretty bad sign, but Luffy is supposed to be there by now. They're hoping that Luffy's there, but we see that Lucci and Luffy are still fighting.
Yes. They're still fighting.
Luffy's not doing well.
He's not doing well. I noticed immediately that Lucci was dodging each one of the Gum Gaplin punches, and those are super fast. So I'm like, almost no one can dodge those. So if you can't get even one hit in, I don't know, maybe you need to change your strategy. Yeah. You're taking a lot of time, Luffy, and you're making me nervous.
I know. So we cut over to Kokoro, who is running with Chopper and Chimney. They're heading down the hallway and stuff and in the tunnel. And we see Chimney is making arrows so everyone doesn't get lost so they can find their way.
She's like, Ram, I need to make these arrows. Like wait, because if not, everyone get lost. And I'm like, you know what, Chimney? I feel like I've been underestimating you this whole time.
She's
just thinking you're just an annoying little girl.
Right.
But you're thinking ahead.
Right.
Like, you're thinking of monitoring the passage to see if anybody, you know, she found Franky, she found Luffy.
Right.
She made these arrows with a note for everybody. Like, she's using her brain, being useful.
She is. And she writes the note. We see later she writes it in Japanese, which is funny. I took a minute to kind of look that up because I couldn't remember. You see, English is used in many places in the One Piece world, but there's also like some Japanese words thrown in there too. There is no real set language in One Piece, but yeah. We're going to see some French soon.
Ooh.
Yes. Meanwhile, we cut over to see everyone trying to leave the island. The sea train is full. If you couldn't get on the sea train yet, you're stuck because that train can't come back. You know, it's going to take hours for it to come back. So you're screwed.
Yep, basically. And then we go back to Polly and Gala and the Franky fam who had been tied up and left there to die.
Yes.
Turns out Polly was pretending to be tied up with his own ropes.
Yay, Polly.
Yay, Polly, because if not, would have been in trouble. So he sort of frees everyone.
And Franky fam just leaves. They are heading out of there.
Yeah.
Good thing. I mean, they're kind of trusting the rest of it to Franky and Luffy.
Which I think is the right thing to do.
Me too. I think that's smart.
Back to Sanji and Usopp against Jabra. Usopp's feeling a little down here. Because he wasn't able to very much put up a fight.
Right.
So he feels a little bit useless. But Sanji makes a very good point. Like,
yes, he does.
Yeah. He tells him, like, you need to do what I can't do. You need to focus on what you can do.
Right.
And let me do what I can do. And he's like, read the situation. As long as we have you, there's still a chance we can save Robin. You hear me, Usopp.
Ooh.
And I'm like, oh, te la está cantando. Like, he's telling you to your face, like, I'm being serious, Usopp, like, and you see, like, his mask. You see his face under his mask.
Yeah.
And you see that he's, like, sort of thinking, really, really thinking about what he's hearing right now.
Right.
And I really like how that stresses, how Sanji says his name to stress. Like, I'm talking to you, Usopp, member of the Straw Hats.
Exactly. I'm talking to you, Usopp. This isn't, like, enough with the Soka King BS. Like, I'm talking to you, and we, the Straw Hats, need you for what you can contribute. You know, you were important. And such a sweet sentiment. Just a really wonderful way to put that. He's also, you know, trying to hint, because I think Sanji has an idea of what Usopp can do, and he's just trying to hint, like winking, right? Like, come on, read the situation. Like, read the situation, and hopefully Usopp figures it out, because we have now 10 battleships on their way to Enies Lobby, and there's only 30 minutes until they arrive.
30 minutes till Buster Call.
Episode 298, Fiery Kicks, Sanji's full course of foot techniques. What a name.
What a name.
Sanji is squaring off the Jabra now that he's arrived as the hunter. Nami and Usopp head out. Usopp is, for a minute there, he's a little bit shook by what Sanji just said, but he starts to get it. Yeah, he gets it. He's like, oh, I have an idea. And then Nami is like, shut up, the wolf is going to hear you. And you can even see, like, Jabra, like, hears him. Yeah. But luckily he doesn't go after him, because he is kind of being attacked by Sanji.
With a kick to the face. Very graceful. I love his landing on this kick.
It was a very amazing landing. He just kind of, like, gracefully, you know, spins downward towards the ground. And yeah, when I saw that, I was like, oh, was there, like, did they have someone different on animation or anything? And I checked, there wasn't anything significantly different about, like, the crew on this one. So I guess they were just like, let's just give him a really nice landing on this move. I liked it. I appreciated it.
And then, yeah, he starts doing, like, a flurry of attacks that I really don't understand. Was that French?
That was the French. Okay. Yeah.
I was like, so, okay.
Yeah,
Sanji's French.
He's calling out cuts of meat in French. So
that's what he's doing.
A very chef-like thing to do, because all you chefs out there, you clearly just shout the names of meat as you cut them.
Gives you power.
Tendron, planche. Yeah, it gives you power to slice and dice. So, but he does, as Sanji is so good at, and he kicks through and is, you know, really giving Jabra a run for his money, which is when Jabra is like, oh, let me try a new technique. Let me try a different technique on Sanji, which is when he claims that he is Robin's long-lost brother.
Oh, yes.
So he's like down on the ground, and like he's just like, wait, I meant to tell you this.
Yeah,
you know, we're siblings.
Yeah, and he's like, you can have the key, please save her, and starts, you know, telling this story. And it's very funny because the flashback is drawings.
Yes.
Because it's obviously a lie.
Like,
so we see just drawings. Yeah.
And I love what I noticed was Jabra is drawn as a baby wolf.
Yeah.
It's like, wouldn't he have been, you know, a kid, a fully human kid when he was a kid?
Right.
And actually, I checked it, and there is an SBS volume, in volume 44, where these are like the Q&As that people do with Oda, and someone asked him to draw all the CP9 characters as kids, and he includes Jabra, and Jabra has a very human kid form. You know, so yeah. it's official that he was human as a kid. So maybe, did he have the powers as a kid? I don't know. He might have had his wolf powers, but either way, I was like, all of this is just so wrong.
Yeah, we see Robin has a, you know, Red Riding Hood.
Oh, it's very Red Riding Hood. Yeah. And very just silly.
So basically, they were supposedly siblings, and some pirates kidnapped her, and then he didn't see her again until she was wanted by the government.
So dramatic.
So dramatic.
The feels, which Sanji does not have, because he does not buy it. But he leans forward and is like, oh, you know, and picks up the key, and then just like kicks Jabra when he tries to get him.
Yeah.
So it was good. There was one thing like in this fight too where Jabra was kind of mentioning that he is the only master of the 6 powers who can move around while he's using the iron body technique. So that's kind of what makes him unique, and a unique challenge to Sanji, because Sanji is kind of about speed and as well as kind of cutting through with his kicks, but because he has the iron body and he's fast, Sanji can't really defeat him. That's been his big challenge. So he's got to get through that iron body.
He's got to get through that. And we get a little peek back at Robin and Spandam, and just him trying to get her to move. Oh, yes. And it's just so annoying. Every time we get a glimpse at them, I'm like, you're just like,
it's awful. He's dragging her by the hair.
I know.
I'm like, you're so, you're terrible.
You.
There's even one point somewhere where she runs and like some of the hair falls out, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It makes me so mad.
It does.
He's a creep.
So Sanji keeps fighting.
Yeah, and Sanji tricks Jabra, and he's like about to square off with him, but then he just runs the other direction. And which I thought was cute that he's tricking the tricky wolf. And then Jabra keeps doing the Iron Body Kempo move, and he uses his Lupus Fall move where he gets the little wolves to come out, like the blue wolf shapes to come out and attack Sanji. And so this is where the fight really just starts to get serious, and Jabra starts talking down about Robin to Sanji, which I'm like, bro, that's a bad move.
Yeah, don't do that.
And Sanji himself says, like, you know, it's making him upset, and like, you don't want to do that because I get heated when I'm mad. Ha ha ha, little foreshadowing what's about to happen.
It turns out he really gets heated.
Yes.
So he starts spinning like super fast. Basically, when he stops spinning, we can see that one of his legs is like super, super hot.
Like glowing.
Like glowing, like hot iron hot.
Yes.
And he says the name of his special move, which is, I don't know how to say this.
Diablo Jambra.
Diablo Jambra.
Basically, like, I think it's like Devil's Foot or something like that. And he just has this super hot foot that are hotter than the flames of hell. And he, sorry, I can't remember. I'm getting mixed up now. So now this is his advantage in the fight because he immediately kicks Jabra, and you hear Jabra saying, oh no, like my iron body couldn't even withstand that. Like you basically know, like, okay, he's finally kicked through the iron body thing, and this is it. So they kind of jump around, and at one point Sanji takes to the air, and that's the point where Jabra is like, oh, I have the moon step, like the moonwalk power, like you're a fool for going to the air because I can get you up here.
Right.
And he goes in and attacks him with the what are they called? His hands, basically.
Yeah.
And then
with his 10-finger pistol.
10-finger pistol. And then that's when Sanji takes him. He's like, he kicks him with one hand, like blocks that attack, and then kicks him with the hot foot again. He calls that the flambage shot, and basically destroys Jabra.
Yes. Finally.
And it was so cool because he comes and he stands down, and that line.
Yes. He stands down. You can see his foot is still super hot, and then just stops glowing. His clothes are still there.
Right. What a mystery. How does that work? His skin isn't burned.
Yeah, and then he says, God may have created food, but the devil created spices.
Ooh.
I'm like, wow.
That line was so good.
I'm like, okay, Sanji. I'll give that to you. Okay.
My God. Oh, yeah. That line. I remember first hearing that line like 10 years ago when I first watched this, and I was like, oh my God. And I remember writing it down then because I was like, this is so good and dumb. I just have to keep this. I don't know where I wrote it down. I was just like, this is good.
It is very good.
It's very Sanji.
Sanji got some good lines.
And so episode. And he was also saying, you know, if you think that kick was hot, my heart was burning hotter. And so many people have asked Oda, you know, he's been asked before, like, how come, like, Sanji's body doesn't burn from his own power? You know, it's not like a devil's fruit power. It's not like Ace's power.
Right.
So how does that work? And Oda's response essentially is, it's because Sanji's heart burns even hotter.
Aww.
Aww. It's so cute.
It really does.
It really does.
For different reasons.
It really does.
And that's where the episode ends, with all that Sanji badassness.
Yes.
Because the fight lasts a while.
Yeah, it's a good fight.
It's a very good fight.
So if you remember, I think a couple podcast episodes ago, we met Wanze.
Yes.
And I was telling you Wanze is a perfect foil to Sanji because he has, their like abilities are similar, their figure, like their looks are similar, a lot of things are the same. And there's one part where I was trying to hint at you that I mentioned, oh, there's one thing that Wanze does, his feet kind of, like his little rollerblade feet, he gets little flames going when he kicks. But Sanji doesn't have that. When I was going back and watching it, I realized, oh my gosh, he is a perfect foil because Wanze kind of, they do a little bit of this idea of he might have like some, just not really a fire power. It's more kind of this artistic flair to his kicks and stuff with the rollerblades, but I think that's kind of a nod to how Sanji is later is going to get fire.
Yeah,
that was how I saw it.
I can see that because we always get these hints that we never understand until later.
Right.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize it though.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't get your hint. Sorry.
I know. And I didn't want to spoil it because this is a really cool move and I didn't want to kind of reveal.
Yeah.
Sanji gets these cool fire powers. Hot leg powers. I don't know.
Demon leg. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving on to episode 299, Fierce Sword Attacks. Zoro versus Kaku. Powerful sword fighting showdown.
So at this point, Zoro is fighting with Kaku and they're destroying the building.
Oh my god, yes.
Sanji even, I think, doesn't he say they're gonna shake the tower down or something?
He's like, what's Mosshead doing?
Yes, what is he doing?
Yeah, because the tower, since it got cut by Kaku, I think, it keeps sort of sliding. It keeps sliding
and it's getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
And among the rebels, Sanji, he finds Chimney's arrow. So he has a hold of one of the keys and he finds the arrows that Chimney left for them to follow, which, good job, Chimney.
Good job, Chimney.
So doesn't he heads after them. Meanwhile, we cut back over to Spandam.
So Spandam reaches the Bridge of Hesitation, which is the final stop before the Gates of Justice. So you cross the bridge and take the ship to go through the gates.
Right. This is the point where Spandam I hate him so much. He's being so rude to her.
Yeah, and he keeps just putting her down and have you heard what I'm saying? He constantly says nobody's coming for you.
Nobody's coming for you.
Give it
blah,
up.
Blah, blah. But Robin still believes in everyone.
She does.
And did you notice a change in her voice?
No, I didn't.
Were you watching it in Japanese or English?
No, this time I was watching in dub.
In dub. Okay.
Yeah.
So the Japanese voice actress for Robin went on maternity leave. So her name is Yuriko Yamaguchi. She went on maternity leave, and now we have Yuko Kobayashi as Nico Robin for this episode and several following ones.
Franky finds Luffy and Lucci, and he just comes to the door and sees how they're fighting, and Luffy's super annoyed when he sees him. He's like, what are you doing here? I don't have time to deal with you.
Right. Still just kind of being a butt about it.
And Franky's like, we're bros now, deal with it.
Yeah, we're family, come on.
I mean, they have gone through a lot they've gone through a lot a day.
Yes, that's a good reminder. This has all happened in one day.
Yeah. So much.
Holy crap. Holy crap. So, yeah, that's around this time we know that they are 10 minutes away from the Buster Call arriving.
Oh, man.
So, somehow 20 minutes has passed in all of this. And Franky, he really wants to help Luffy.
Yeah, he sort of wants to partner up against Lucci.
Right, because,
we can take him, you need help.
You need help. Lucci's way stronger, and let's be a team and all this stuff. And then Luffy's like, no, Robin is more important. Go to Robin.
Yeah, he's like, okay. And then we go back to Zoro, still fighting this giraffe. Jeez.
Yes. But luckily, we're about to get serious.
We're about to get serious because, we can't be wasting time. We need to get these keys because we don't know which one is going to be the one that Robin needs.
We don't know. And so Zoro puts his bandana on.
And that's how we know. It's going
that's
down.
How we know. Kaku even questions his bandana. It's is that going to make you stronger?
And we're like, yes.
Yes, it is. So then that's when, this fight gets so dumb. It's so funny because Kaku just starts to do a lot of moves. You got to think, this guy has not had a lot of time to really practice his moves. He's very inexperienced with his power. So he's probably just making them up as he goes. I like to think that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And it makes sense because they're talking about blind spots and things like that. Because, he has this big, long neck. And Zoro's like, oh, that's a weak point or whatever, blind spot. And so he then activates Iron Body Edgewise Giraffe. And he forms a perfect cube with his giraffe body in this very mechanical like way with his head just like folding over his box self. And he's like, there's no blind spots on a square. Yeah. What is this logic? What is this?
What? And he says it like very matter of fact.
He's so certain.
And I'm like, okay.
And Zoro's like, what? You can't even run. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, no, just watch this. And he does giraffe shower where he takes his little nubbly legs and like flaps around. Yeah. We're just doing the motion here. Like just does the legs. And he uses the iron body to protect from his own attack because suddenly like all the, I guess they're tempest kicks that he's doing, the attack rains back down on top of both of them and it starts cutting into Zoro. You know, Zoro has to like defend himself.
Mm-hmm. He looked very silly. Turns out it was a very, lethal attack.
It was still a lethal attack. Still lethal. Very square. It's funny, he finally gets out of the dumb square shape, but they're still fighting. And I don't know, there's this one line too where he's like talking to Zoro and he's like, I'm a giraffe, boy. And then Zoro is like, oh, so your name is Giraffe Boy?
Yeah.
It's so stupid. I love it.
It was great.
So now Zoro's calling him like Giraffe Boy and things like that. And Zoro is kicking butt, like he's saying like, I'm gonna cut through your iron body. So how's he gonna do that?
And then Kaku brings out real swords.
Yeah. He jumps up and like gets swords from, I guess it was on another level he had them or something. I'm not sure where it was. Brings those out. Meanwhile, Zoro is doing the 1 gorilla, 2 gorilla and his like biceps pump up and he's stronger now, I guess. And then they begin this intense sword fight. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because Kaku is saying, I have a 4 sword style. And you're looking at him, you're like, you're using 2 swords. What are you talking about?
Right.
But I guess he's considering his legs because he can do the tempest kick with them. And that's kind of like a blade. So he's just kicking and sword fighting at the same time. I don't know. The point being... 4 must be better than 3 swords.
Right.
So what are you going to do, Zoro? Oh, no. We do cut back and we see Franky talking with Luffy. And Franky's still kind of like refusing to leave. And he's like, we've got to work as a team. I don't want to leave you behind. And then Luffy is like, no, this is my fight. You need to bring back Robin. When he says that, that's when it triggers, a memory in Franky's mind of when he was trying to stop the sea train. And he's saying, bring back Tom, and it just reminds Franky just how important Tom was to him. So he's like, oh, Robin is she's so important to Luffy. So, okay, I get it now. Yeah. I'm going to go after her. And that's when he moves on ahead.
Then back to Zoro. He's like, well, like you... even if you have the power of a wild animal or 4 swords or basically whatever it is, like you don't have the strength that it takes to defeat me.
Yes, Zoro.
Like, wow, Zoro.
Yes. It's so intense. Oh, we forgot to mention the giraffe cannon.
Oh my god.
And the pasta machine.
The giraffe cannon. That is true.
Those 2 moves, there were, y'all know, there were some dumb moves in there. He tries to do giraffe cannon where he squishes his neck in and then launches his head out. And then because he like did that so much, it pushed his legs out. Yeah. And he claims it's like a pasta machine. And so it's like, what the heck? And then he's like, yeah, pasta machine, it's a move. Kaku, in a nutshell.
That's Kaku for you guys.
I do love that dumb move. It's so cute.
To be continued.
To be continued. Episode 300, Demon God Zoro, an incarnation of Asura, born from fighting spirit.
Demon God.
What is this?
What is this?
So Zoro and Kaku are still fighting, and Kaku is starting to say, some really rude things, saying, people who defy and want to fight like this and defy the government deserve death, and that goes for Nico Robin too. Mm-hmm. And that's where you see Zoro is like, no. You crossed the line.
Nope, sir. So he's had enough, and he starts doing his... Have we seen this move before?
I was wondering that too. I don't think so.
I don't think I think we did see a similar, sort of transformation way back when. I don't remember. I think it was before the Alabasta arc. It wasn't the same one, but it reminded me of that one because he sort of got, I think it was 6 that time. And
Maybe.
He did like a 6 arms thing, and I was like,
ooh, what is this?
Yeah, another demon attack.
Yeah, that's with Zoro. Like, I think his numbers, or like his powers just keep going up in numbers, so I think they're never quite the same when you see them.
That makes sense.
It's not too often that I've seen him bring back a lot of the same powers, because he just keeps getting more powerful. But at this point, this is where he unleashes the Demon Aura 9-sword style Ashura. And this is where, Kaku mentions, he's like, oh, I see a god of war with 3 faces and 6 arms. And that's when Zoro kind of takes on this new shape. This like dark aura is like surrounding him, and it's super cool. And he like powers up with this, and you can see like he kind of does have like 3 heads. And, like when he's talking, all of them are kind of speaking. And so Kaku's like, well, that can't stop me. And he just starts doing the weird like breakdance spinning thing. To which he did before to break the building, I think. And he launches another Sky Slicer, which Zoro slices right through, and it kind of just turns into this mist. And yeah, thwarted. You're thwarted, Kaku.
Sorry. Yeah, and then he remembers, we see a flashback, and he remembers Polly's message.
Yes.
To the guys, like, tell them that you're all fired.
Which I love that he passed on.
He passed it on, which was so cool. Oh, Zoro. Of course he would do that.
Yes.
Do what he says he's going to do.
And then Kaku's like, oh, he doesn't have a job now. And Zoro's like, you can always get a job at the zoo. I was like, oh, damn, Zoro. Burn.
Double burn. I'll defeat you, and then I'll burn you.
Right. But then, I think Kaku just kind of has this moment where he's like thinking about the Galley Law and his, he kind of failed this fight. There's this moment like after like Kaku kind of just brings the key out for Zoro. Zoro even says sorry.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa.
Yeah, I noticed that too, that he says sorry.
I don't know. I think he kind of understands what Kaku's going through. Because you kind of think, like, it's not like Kaku, he may not have, like, chosen this life. They did have to, Kaku and them did have to go through really intense training to get to this point and stuff. And, like, it's been a hard life for him. So even having to, be a member of the Galley Law, knowing that he was lying to everyone.
Right.
Like, maybe.
And maybe he even felt for these guys with whom he worked for 5 years, like he must have had some sort of, connection maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
And maybe that's why he sort of looks back to all of it. Because I think we see him soaring through the sky too.
Yeah, that one cool scene and stuff, yeah.
That is much better than being an assassin, I feel. Like maybe he sort of, I don't know, longs for that a little bit.
For that life, yeah. So then we cut over and we see the giants are carrying Sodom and Gomorrah, who must be very heavy.
Yeah.
Along with everyone else on top of them. And trying to help everyone escape and is running with them. And meanwhile, Chimney is rushing Kokoro down the hallway, like, come on, we gotta go, and like she's even telling her like enough of the alcohol, like go.
Yeah, we sort of get this build up and like this. When I saw those scenes, I was like, well, they're trying to give us a sense of urgency because, like,
yes,
they are. How much minutes were there left?
There was 10 minutes.
10 minutes left. Yeah. So by now that should be maybe 8 in One Piece time.
Sure, who knows? Who really knows though, Jocelyn? This is cartoon time,
right? That's
There's
no. Every second counts.
Every second counts, but not in the way that you count.
Right. So at least we know that we're getting some urgency. Time has passed.
We gotta get going. They have less than 10 minutes, that's for sure. Spandam and Robin are basically at the bridge. Like, the bridge has been pulled up.
Yes, because it's sort of like, I don't know, it's sort of folded and then it comes up like from the water, sort of.
It does, yep.
So the bridge comes up. They had been waiting for it, to move. It was moving. And now it's done, so they can start crossing it. But Spandam is not hurrying it a lot. Good, because he wants the Marines to come out from the ship and salute him because he's a hero.
He wants a show of it and everything.
He's bringing in this criminal.
Right. He keeps kind of making this point of how the gate is the point of no return. This is kind of where, like, the gateway between heaven and utter hell. So this sort of thing that positions Spandam as the hero and Robin as the devil. You see this sort of like black and white image that he is painting in his head of just, this is it.
Mm-hmm. And Robin is still like fighting with everything she's got. She's trying to get loose. He's holding her by the hair. This is where the hair rips out. Oh,
she
pulls her head and her hair is ripped off.
Oh gosh.
So she can't escape and she falls. Hold on to the bridge with her teeth.
Mm-hmm. With her teeth.
And she's like, Luffy will save me. And I'm like, wow, Robin, like it's a different you.
I know.
I love it.
And she even says, she's afraid to die.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, because she's even crying at that point a little, and I'm like, I remember that getting to me too, like first time around, and I was like, that's so sad. This basically means death, because Spanum is saying like they're gonna kill her as soon as she crosses through the gate.
Mm-hmm. So we go back to Luffy, who's fighting. Still, Franky's there because, well, he needs to go through anyways.
Right, he's
Lucci's
trying to get
standing right here.
He can't get past Lucci because Lucci is just a boss, and Lucci, even his power is about 5 times that of Foucault. That's what he says to Franky. So Franky at this point is just like, damn, Lucci's out of our league. Come on, like there's
Luffy, let's go. He sort of, I think he also he mentions like he should make a run for it. I don't remember.
Yeah, but he's just like, like this guy's way out of our league. Really, just kind of helps to paint a picture of how powerful Lucci is.
Mm-hmm.
When suddenly Luffy jet pistols in second gear, to save Franky and attacks Lucci, and his hit lands, and it works, and it's amazing, and he's in second gear.
Yes. So Franky gets by.
Yes.
And we see him run, and we see Lucci stand up, and he's transformed into his leopard form, which I had sort of forgotten that we had seen before.
Yeah. Yeah, we
That's
saw
true.
it before, and he's like, oh, like I defeated you in this form before, and Luffy's like, yeah, but I was hungry back then. So you're like, okay,
Obviously.
Luffy, clearly you're so much stronger on a full stomach. Okay. Mm-hmm. Which is true. He is. And this power especially, like, I think I explained it before, too. We're going to hear Lucci kind of explain it, too. But basically, we know that Luffy's powerful now. And then as it ends, like, Franky busts through the door, like, and he's like, heading out, like, away from the fight into the stairs where Robin is. And he says the line, just super leave it to me.
Yeah.
And I love it so much. I want us all to say that at work.
Yes. Super leave it to me.
Right.
It's like a level up from leave it to me, obviously.
Right.
Because
just super leave it
means
to
you
me.
super got it.
He super got it. Thank you, Franky. You super got it.
I love it. Don't forget you can watch all One Piece anime episodes on Funimation.com/One Piece or the Funimation Now app. And check out our blog at funny.to/One Piece podcast for all the info on binge routes and more. 301. Spandam Frightened, the hero on the Tower of Law. So we're at the gates of justice.
Right. And everyone is freaking out because everyone can see these big gates are opening and they're like completely open. Mm-hmm. And everyone's like, oh, they've never opened this far before. Like, they never open all the way. That's a thing. Like, what is happening? This is crazy. Everyone is worried about that.
And is this where they explain the whirlpools? I don't remember that.
Around that time, it's a little bit after, I think. But basically, the whirlpools
disappear.
They disappear because they were trapped by the gates and were forming these circling waters. And once that's open, it clears. So now the ships can move freely, as they do.
Which makes sense. I was like, how does a ship get through there?
Right.
Now I know.
Now you know.
So the Marines all get out of the ship to make a line to salute Spandam. And we see them line up.
It's a really grand, stairs. They're on the other end of the Bridge of Hesitation. And meanwhile, Spandam he's fed up with Robin, trying to make her like move. And so he ties like a rope to her arm or something and starts dragging her.
Yeah, and he starts going about how he planted a landmine on the stairs on the other end of the bridge.
Oh my gosh, right. So
just in case.
Just in case.
He doesn't think anybody's going to make it, but just trying to make her,
right, there's even less hope.
Like, yeah.
And he keeps talking to, and this is where, oh my gosh, this is where he just deals a low blow. And he mentions Saul and O'Hara, and he's basically saying, like, this little bomb that he planted, the landmine, as well as the Buster Call, all of that are going to erase his embarrassments.
Yeah.
Including, how he mistakenly did the Buster Call, and just all the other mistakes he's made, which he says that's just like how they erased Saul at O'Hara, because Saul was a Marine who defected. He's saying, they were trying to erase that sort of blemish and just treating all of this like, oh, it's just a little thing that needs to be erased. All these people, it's worth his pride again.
Yeah, and this is where he also tells her that Spandine is his father. Like,
yes,
he's all like, "Don't you recognize?" Like, I don't know. I don't remember if he starts talking about the similarities.
Something along those lines.
And how he had talked about wanting to give his son the lead or inherit the lead of CP9 or whatever. Yeah, he says like basically that is me. He was my father.
And Robin is just like triggered by that. Like, what in the world? Because that Spandine was the one who wasn't he the one who triggered the Buster call on O'Hara. And so she's having flashbacks at this point of basically everything that had happened when she was young, all the way to the point where her mother, she separates from her mom, and the last thing her mom really says to her is like, "You must live, Robin." Ties perfectly to right now, how she's saying she wants to live.
Yeah, and she also thinks about Saul when he was carrying her to help her escape the island, how he was telling her like, O'Hara was so brave, it fought against the whole world, and O'Hara is a great place, like all these things that she needs to remember, because those are all, part of the reason that she needs to live, because she's the only one who knows that.
Exactly. So she makes the point, like, O'Hara won't die as long as I live, which is so amazing.
Yes.
And then, of course, Spandam is like, well, how long is that gonna be? Just teasing her.
I just want to punch him in the face.
And she's like gripping her hands until they bleed at this point. Like, she is so upset by him, so frustrated. And that's when we hear the explosion right behind her, and we know that Franky has been blown up by the landmine, and we see him flying into the water off the bridge. But at least, Robin sees that, so she knows that they're still coming for her.
Yeah,
which I think is that. Yeah, it's close. It's a glimmer of hope.
But he didn't make it, and we're like, at this point, I'm desperate, like, because he's there. He's right at the edge of where the Marines are, waiting for him.
They're right at the line, and Spandam is pulling her towards it, and they're so close when suddenly he gets shot in the face. Out of nowhere. And I'm so glad. It was like, I'm so glad they hit him in the face. I was like, how embarrassing is that?
That is super embarrassing. And I'm like, oh my God, I know who this is.
Right?
I know who this is. And Robin looks back and she remembers Saul's words about how she'll find true friends eventually. No one is meant to be alone.
It's so wonderful.
And yes, it's Sniper King.
Standing on the Tower of Law. Yes, he does the shing sound himself. And then he starts singing the Soka King song himself. Because he is such a, just a wonderful gift to all of us as the Sniper King. And even Sanji says, our sniper is number one. And that part was really cool because, he says, our sniper.
Yes.
Just already, he's one of the Straw Hats. Come on. Yeah. And it's going pretty good. So now we're excited that, Usopp can basically, fire from such a long distance. And he's able to shoot at the Marines and helps to get Nico and sort of Franky safe from them.
So Nico runs. She starts crossing the bridge, and Spandam's like, shoot him. And they're like, he's so far away. We can't shoot him.
They can't shoot Usopp.
They can't shoot him.
They can't touch him. Untouchable. And so they try to shoot after Robin, but, Spandam orders them, don't kill her. But, you can still shoot at her, just don't kill her, which is terrifying. All right, this is the part when Franky jumps in front of her.
Yes.
He basically blocks all of the bullets from getting to her. We're like, yay, Franky, you're okay.
You see a bullet on his face.
Yes.
And he's just fine.
Super cool. Hard-boiled.
He's Franky.
He is Franky. And so that's when he gets a call from Usopp on the Din Mushi, and Usopp tells him all the keys are in a little red bundle behind you. So Usopp had launched the keys over right to where they are. So now they have the keys, and I was afraid that there was going to be all this mess of oh no, fumbling with the keys or someone takes one.
Me too.
But luckily no, it was just let's just kind of try all of them at once, and finally key number 5, which was Kaku's key, I believe, That's the one that opens Robin's lock, and now she's free.
She's free.
Yay!
Great job, Usopp.
Yes,
she's free, and she looks at her hands even, and I'm like, yes,
I know,
you're
free.
Your hands.
Finally, back.
This fight's about to turn around, y'all.
I know, and Usopp even says a wonderful line that I liked because he was saying the Straw Hats will be proud to have you back. So come back with your head held high.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking just like, Usopp, I hope you know that means the same for you too.
You too.
You too.
Oh, just, yeah. I really can't wait until Chopper and Luffy, if they know that Soga King is Usopp, like how does that happen? Or is he just gonna disappear and Usopp's gonna come back and they'll be, they won't know any better? I'm excited.
I'm excited for you and everyone else who's about to find out that. But for now, yes. So they're essentially free, and Spandam is like, "What? They beat CP9?
Yeah,
what?"
He's surprised. His face is like, he reminded me a little about that Eneru face he makes when
a little bit the Eneru shocked face. Yeah.
And he's like, his eyes bulge out. He's like, "What? They beat CP9?" And they're like, "It can't be." He's like, "Can't be. Probably they took the keys and ran or something."
Right. And then Robin is like, finally, that's sweet payback. She has her powers now.
Yeah.
The first person she uses them on is Spandam, and she just makes all these cease fleur and just has these arms on him and just slaps the shit out of him.
They just start slap.
Slaps his stupid face.
His stupid face, yes.
Beats him to a pulp. Yes, Robin.
Oh my God, that was very satisfying.
I was so glad. And then we're about to end the episode when Usopp, we do zoom in on him, and he seems to hear something, just a strange sound.
Yeah.
And there's some imagery of bubbles and water.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Jocelyn?
I don't know.
What's your guess?
I don't know.
I'm staring at her intently.
I didn't even notice the bubbles. I know he hears something. He was like, "What was that?" And then the explosion hits.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of kind of imagery along
that's
with
true.
it. They just as he hears it, you just little kind of bubbles in water and you just hear this noise.
I don't know what it is. Will we find out?
You will find out. You will find out, and it's going to be wonderful.
And before we head to the next episode, let's go to the social question. How did you feel when the Straw Hats were finally able to free Robin on the Bridge of Hesitation? And on Twitter, we got a lot of gifts. We got a lot of Chopper crying gifts.
Aww.
We got surprise gifts. We got some you go gifts. At Aceropa said, "I've literally never cried at any other entertainment in my life except for when they saved Robin. That entire arc had me skipping class and calling in sick to work so I could get through it."
Okay.
I'm like, okay.
Okay, that's some dedication.
Yeah, that's hardcore. I'm not telling all y'all that you need to skip class and not go to work for One Piece. But
if it gets you like that.
If you feel, if that's how you feel,
I understand.
Yeah. There are times where I'm very, very glad that it's my job to watch
One Piece. I know.
And then the boss comes and I'm like, panic for a second. And I'm like, oh, no, it's okay.
No, it is my job.
It is my job.
Yeah, I have moments like that too. I'm like, I actually should be just watching these episodes and reading this manga right now. So
I totally feel you. And then on Facebook, Greg Goddard said, "Very relieved. Thank you, Soga King and Franky. Just putting it out there, Water 7 in Eni's lobby is the best arc of all time." I can see that.
Yeah.
And Andrew Matsusak says, "This was the point I became totally enthralled with One Piece. This is the moment I stopped doubting the Straw Hats. They will always be there for their nakama, and they can overcome any situation as long as they are together." 100 and hand emojis.
Hand emojis. Nice.
And everybody else they felt happy. They felt like it was an extremely amazing moment that was epically built up, which is true. We've been waiting for this moment so long.
It is very epically built up, and I think they make a good point of this is really just this. It's so heartbreaking and so intense. I think this is the arc that really hooks a lot of people because it's just done so well.
It is the whole, since Water 7, the whole build up and all those glimpses of Robin's story until we finally see it. And then she changes her mind or her heart, and it's also
right
until now. that she's free.
Right.
So it was great. Thank you, everybody, for your answers. Be sure to catch the next social question next week on One Piece Official on Facebook and One Piece Anime on Twitter.
Episode 302, Robin freed. Luffy versus Lucci. Showdown between leaders. So, we just saw Usopp kind of hear something, but the action moves on from there. We don't get to linger on it because now, basically, the Buster Call has arrived.
It is here.
It is here, and they are already shooting cannons before you can even really see the ships and all that. There's cannonball that flies in and just starts hitting the buildings. We do cut over to the ships, and we see Vice Admiral Doberman, who's, talking to a Marine, and he's like, I don't care who it hits. Our job is to sink this whole island. Sink it all. So
Sink it.
It's pretty epic.
We see Usopp, I think Sanji, right, tells him to jump. He's like, jump. Oh, jump off because it's going to fall.
The tower is going to fall, right.
But he doesn't want to. He's super scared. It's so tall.
It's so tall. He's like, I'm not a superhuman like you guys, and it's like,
I'm just regular Usopp.
And it's like, that's fair, Usopp. I would not want to jump either. But then, it does get hit by cannonball and, like, just kind of crashes down. And you see it, the whole building, like, falling down, crashes the bridge. The one, even though the bridge is kind of halfway open, that was, like, whatever possibility that they might have had to get back across is gone now, too, with that. And they think Usopp is gone, too. But he does show up again. He's like, hey, I'm here. I'm okay. And everyone's just really relieved.
He's okay. But everybody panicked for a moment there.
For a minute
second.
there.
They were like,
yes.
Usopp, no.
No.
He's fine, though.
He's fine.
Back to Franky and Robin. Franky says, like, let's steal their ship.
Which is a great idea.
Which is a great idea.
Yeah.
We just sail out of here.
Yeah.
Right? Or at least that's their best chance at getting out of there.
And Robin rolls with it.
Yeah, and Robin's like, well, I mean, we're already criminals. We might as well steal their ship.
Might as well. So they start fighting together.
Yeah.
And this was really fun to watch them both just kind of going at it. And Robin finally using her powers and just taking people out as she does.
Yes. So, she's using her hands to slap everybody, punch everybody. I like how
on their heads,
Hitting their heads. Punching them on their heads.
Yes. And then Franky as well, he does a strong face slap. I love how slaps are just like the theme of this now.
Yeah.
Of just getting people back. And he does a strong face slap. I was waiting for a strong right or a strong left. No, it was that. And that was great. And he also, once again, transforms into the Franky Centaur.
Yes. And he does the whole transformation part.
Everything.
He does he extends his arms.
Yeah, extends his arms. And the front portion
pushes out. And everybody's like, wait, what?
Wait, that's not right. But it is. It's the Franky Centaur, and we're all glad for it. So meanwhile, we see Kokoro and Chimney running through the passageway, through the tunnel. And it's really cute because, Chimney's like, oh, like, Granny, you're like running faster now. Like, was it the boost? Did it give you power? And she's like, no, actually, I'm just having fun.
Yeah.
It was so cute.
The power of the booze.
I know.
Oh my God. I mean, I know what she's talking about.
I mean, it could have been.
It could have been. But yeah, she basically said that she hasn't had this much fun since Tom was around.
Right.
Which is nice because, I mean, it's been 8 years.
Yeah.
Right?
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time.
How old is Chimney? I don't know. Something like that. Anyway, this is when Nami catches up to them, to Chimney and Gonbei. And I wanted to point out, did you know that the voice actor for Gonbei is also Nami?
Really?
In Japanese.
Oh.
In the Japanese version. It's the same voice actress. Yeah, the little meowing cat rabbit. It's also Nami. I mean, they're all together in this one scene. Her name is Akemi Okamura. She's talking with them, and the directions that Chimney left his helper catch up. And so that squad is moving through, but we cut over to where Luffy and Lucci are still fighting. Lucci even kind of expresses that Luffy's power, now that he is in second gear, his power is comparable to a master of all 6 powers, just like he is. So you can see they're pretty neck and neck.
Yeah, they're still like trying to hit each other, and Lucci's sort of studying Luffy. He's trying to figure out how this power works.
Yeah.
And he does it pretty quickly.
Yeah, it was just amazing.
Yeah. He basically explains what we had talked about before, how his legs pump his blood faster and they increase circulation, so he is able to power up. And he also explains that the reason Luffy's able to do this is because his organs are made out of rubber, so he can handle it.
Right.
That doesn't mean that he should be doing it, because it apparently is pushing his body too hard.
It is still shortening his lifespan, which at this point I did want to say, so this line is pretty important because he's saying to Luffy, you're shortening your lifespan for just a few minutes of strength. You know, it seems like a pretty, bad deal he's getting. And Luffy replies that it's like losing some years off my life is better than letting you take away everything I care about. Okay, I want you to pocket that nugget.
Okay, let me put that in my pocket with all the other things.
And you ain't gonna see it for maybe 100 episodes, I don't know. But just know that that's a thing. Any people out there rewatching, y'all know.
Oh no. I'm scared.
But it's beautiful.
It is. I mean, it makes all the sense.
He loves his friends so much. He would spend
gladly,
some of his life.
Yeah, make his life shorter for them.
So then this is when Lucci, he kind of suspects that there's probably, people trying to, get through the tunnels. He knows about them, about the way the place is built. So he busts the wall and the water starts flooding in the tunnel where Nami and Kokoro and now even Zoro and Sanji are.
Yeah, we see them running. The room starts to flood and Luffy's kind of lost his patience. He's like, this isn't a game. Like, these are my friends' lives that you're putting in danger.
Right. You can't just test to see, if they survive. Like, this is not a game. It's serious now. Meanwhile, we see Franky and Robin, who they're still fighting,
still
aren't
fighting, holding on the bridge. Yeah, because Marines keep coming. Spandam calls more Marines from the ship. He calls in the ship, and they're like, how many men should we send? And he's like, send everybody.
Everybody.
Like, everybody.
Like,
every
even
cook,
the
every
cook and
whoever
captain and whoever.
So the Marines keep pouring onto the bridge, and they are still holding, trying to push forward. That's when we actually see the ships, that they are here, and they turn and they see that the ships are here.
The Buster Call has arrived, and they start bombing all the buildings. And I believe they've been given the order by Aokiji to target all of the Straw Hats, but don't kill Robin.
Yeah, who's at the bridge, I think they say. So probably they save the bridge for last or something.
Maybe something like that. Yeah. Either way, Buster Call is here, and it's bad.
And it's bad. And that's where it ends.
That's where it ends. You don't get to see anything else.
I don't get
Not
to
in this
see
episode.
else until after this recording.
Yes. Are you going to go and binge the rest right now?
Probably. At least one episode.
Well, you might want to, because the next episode is a filler.
No.
But it's a good one.
Okay.
It's a good filler. Okay. It's fun.
Okay. Is it a continuation of the Grand Japan?
It is.
Yay! Because I kind of love those.
It is cute.
I don't know what's going to happen. The Buster Call is here. Luffy's tired, though. I'm kind of worried about him. He's losing his power up.
I mean, he doesn't have a wad of meat in his pocket now, does he?
He ate it.
So.
I don't know
if
he's got more. How big are those pockets?
I know, right?
I don't know. And also I'm worried about the guys in the flooding tunnel.
Yeah. That's exciting. Yeah. How is that going to resolve?
How's that going to go? At least Chopper, somebody got somebody, like Choppers.
Yeah, somebody's got Chopper.
The others can swim, right? Because no one has devil fruit powers.
Right, they can swim.
Okay, they can swim. So,
but consider they've been in this tunnel a while. It's probably a very long tunnel. I mean,
it is.
Can they swim out in time?
Who knows? So we hope you enjoyed this One Piece at a time. Don't forget to check out Funimation blog at funny.to/One Piece podcast, which is updated constantly with the binge routes and everything you need to know. Also, head to our shop at Funimation.com/shop and add One Piece home video to your collection. And for all things One Piece, follow us on Facebook at One Piece Official and Twitter at One Piece Anime.
We want to thank all the people who make this podcast happen. The creator of One Piece, Oda-sensei, Toei Animation, the audio engineers, and of course, everyone joining us on this journey. All of y'all are straw hats out there listening to us. So please rate this podcast wherever you're listening and share it with other One Piece Nakama.
The next One Piece at a time will cover anime episodes 303 to 310, so be sure to watch on Funimation now, subbed or dubbed, and be ready. See ya.
Bye.